Okay, this is where we left off. Last episode, air quotes, and your homework was figure out what this, y00f 0 f0f, and you know what I'm saying, and why, there's a pound sign in front, and why does that mean blue? Well, and you were supposed to go and use your favorite search engine to figure out something like that. So I went with I got a few hits when I did it, and the second one I liked best. Well, I like the second one better than the first one. Look at this website, W3 School. Okay, W3. Okay, www. It's like W cubed. W3 School, World Wide Web School. Okay, this is color codes. So you'll notice here we've got codes. Oh damn! Look at that. They've got six. They've not got three. They've not got F00. They've got FF0000 and 00FF00. Well, it turns out you can do it with 3 characters. So, well, it's okay. Take a step back. These are basically saying how much red, how much green, and how much blue. And they're using hexadecimal values. Hexadecimal values go we use decimal to do our counting, and we count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we go 10. But 10's not one letter, is it? 10's 2. 10 is actually 10 is actually 0 again, but with a 10. You get me? Computers, we use 10s, right? Because we got why? Because we got 10 fingers, but 8 fingers, 2 thumbs. Computers don't have fingers and thumbs. So 10s aren't natural to them. They aren't a natural base. Computers use 1s and 0s, and if you clump 1s and 0s together in bunches of 4s, you get 16 possible values, and long story short, that's why we go like this for a computer. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A means 10. B means 11. C, D, E, F. Okay. So when you see, ignore that line. Okay. So basically this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. A means 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then 15. So when I was saying like F00, it doesn't really matter, big F, small f. What I'm really saying there is I want 15. I want red to go up to 15, which is 4 more than 11, and green is going to 0, which is nothing, and blue is going to 0, which is nothing. So this is an escape to say, here comes a number, not a name, and then red, green, blue. Okay. Recap of the homework. Kind of. Okay, but if you don't follow it, you should have read lots of stuff here. So maybe hexadecimal was another piece of homework you should have had. Okay. And don't save. No, I don't need that. Okay, get rid of this window. We don't need that. So yeah, go look at this, and then we'll figure out this week's homework later. Okay, so this is where we were. We've got some reds and some greens and some blues. We've got a line here. So what we've done, to recap, we've created a line using this div tag. These are what we call tags. Angle. This is the sharp angle, not the bracket. This is a sharp angle bracket. So we've used this div to create a wall, which is green, and we've used this div to create a wall, which is red. And then we've used, get rid of that. That was your clue. That was your hint for the homework. Then we've used this div. I should look at what div means. Note to self. to create what we call the player. And what we're going to do now is make a Pong thing, you know, a bouncy off the walls type game, using code, which is going to be JavaScript. So to do the code, we need to write it in the script part of this document. Okay, that was a recap. So this is last week's file. I don't want to edit this file, you know, let's preserve it. So this is the file, remember? This is the file on the desktop, and then this is the text editor where we're editing it. I'm going to do a copy, and paste. That makes me a copy. I'm going to rename it to GameCoder 0002 so we can preserve what we've done so far in case you want to go back and review. GameCoder 2. I'm just going to drag and drop that on there. Okay, it looks very similar. Why does it look different? Yeah, it's the same. Okay, GameCoder 2. Okay, let's rename. So this is GameCoder 2. This is still pointing at GameCoder 1. Remember, this is our browser. This is Firefox web browser. So let me drag GameCoder 2 over there. I'm gonna hit F5. Okay, refresh. Jolly good. Okay, snap this to that side. So let's write some code. So this might initially seem a bit confusing, but we're gonna write some logic. Okay, we're gonna write some logic, and we're gonna write some variables, and just gonna do some conditionals, and that's what programming's all about. Okay, so without further ado, var player lm equals. Oh, this is. Oh, I'll explain this in a minute. getElementById player. So notice there's big letters and little, you know, there's camel case, what we call camel case. There's capitals, capital. Computers are they do exactly what you tell them. And what I'm telling it here is to go to the document. You know, we've spoke about documents already. So go to the document, which is basically the file itself. The browser will know what that means, and use this command, or what we call a function. So get, it starts with a verb, get, remember verbs from school, a doing word. So get element by ID, so element. So these are, you know, I call these tags. They're tags, they're elements, they're markup. So these are all elements. And what I'm telling it to do is get the element with the ID of player. Okay. So this is getting into a var means variable. So into a variable player element, get this thing. Why? You'll find out. So programs need variables. I'm going to do a save. So programs need variables to hold information, and variables also, we call them objects, and when it's an object you can do things to it. So we're going to do things to this which are going to be nice, not nasty. So this is what I can do. See, so once I've got the reference to the player, I can do stuff to it. I can do a player element dot, for instance, this is just a for instance, style background equals what's this, right? We'll see in a minute. No. EEE 888, whatever. Okay, what's this? This is, oh, okay, we don't want to do this yet. Okay, what we want to do, so this is the code we want to execute, but you know, I forgot to do something. We wrap everything in what we call a function, and do some indents. Okay, so this is a function, it's called loader, and then in the body tag I'm going to do on load equals. Now coders will, you know, if you know some coders, they might look at this and go, that's not how you do it. But the thing is, there are different ways of doing the same thing, and everybody's got their opinion. And this is quick at getting started. Okay, this is it's correct, and it works. So we're gonna go with it. So notice this just changed to gray. Okay, so what I did here, I did just to catch you up. I did a save. So I typed this in, I did a save, and I went over here and I did the refresh. You know, I said last time, you can hit reload here, or you can hit F5. I always hit F5 because it's quicker, because I can use my left hand. I noticed it went grey. Well, you know why? It's because of this here. Okay, so what's happened is the browser, the Firefox, reads all this in, right? It reads it all in, blah, 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 read. And it gets to this section, right? This is body. You know, like I said last time, this is the mark, this is the, you know, like the content, as opposed to this, which is the instructions. But it gets to here, and it draws all these things. So it drew this one, green line, it drew this one, red line, it drew this one, OOF, blue, and, okay. And and then it comes here, and then it comes, and oh, done. It's all loaded. Hey, well, you know what? So once it gets to onload, once it's finished loading, it looks for a command called onload. It say, so when I'm done, is there anything else I need to do? And the thing that tells it what to do next is the onload, what we call attribute inside the body tag, and this is saying onload, run a function called loader. Okay, function called loader. Where do I find a function called loader? Well, you're going to find a function inside the script, you know, the JavaScript, because functions are script. And then here we go, function loader. So this is how you declare a function. A function just means do something. And what we're telling it to do is find the player element, by going to the document and looking for it. And then on the player element, set the style, and more specifically, set the background part of the style to 888, which means halfway up red. You know, turn red halfway, turn green halfway, and turn blue halfway. Because remember, for computers, they do between 0 and 15, so 8 is about halfway between 0 and 15. So we've basically gone halfway from completely off to completely on. So completely on would of course be white. Well, I say of course. If you read the homework, you would know that. Yeah, FFF is white. So halfway between black and white is grey. So that's why this has gone grey. So what we've done is we've actually manipulated. We've manipulated the markup using code. This is awesome. You know what? We're going to manipulate some more. I like to manipulate. So I'm gonna take that line out, because that's not really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do something quick to stop you falling asleep. Okay, so I'm going to use another command, or function. So I'm going to do this one. So you can work along with me. Work along with me. Copy along. Yeah. So set timeout. Okay. This is a function. Set timeout is a function. But also inside inside set timeout, I'm going to put two things. One is a function, do work, and the other one is how often I want to do it. I want to do it every 100. Every 100 what? Well, you'll find out. And I'm going to put this function, do work, right here. This may not be intuitive, or it may be. You will notice that do work function is nested inside the loader function. Subtle detail, probably don't care about. Okay, do work. Okay, so now I need some more variables. Okay, so right here I'm going to do another variable, player left equals don't mind me, 300. Okay, player left is 300. Okay, so in do work, what I'm going to do is, this is interesting, I'm going to do player lm. I'm going to mess with the style some more. So player element style left equals, okay, player left. Okay, so what this will do is, now this line's not finished yet, so don't rush me. This will say, hey, on that element which represents the player, modify the style, and then more specifically, modify the left attribute of the style. So what was left on the player before? Left on the player was 200, but notice it's 200 px. Did I mention px stands for pixels? Pixels. So, you can think of the screen or this window as a bunch of dots, very, very close together. In the old days, you could see the individual dots, but no, not anymore. So individual dots. So what we've said, this is the left. The player is 200 dots from the left-hand side of the window. This window. Okay, not from the screen as a whole, but from this window. So it's 200. So 200 pixels. So what I'm going to say is move that. What I'm going to say is put the player element to this position. Now you'll notice some funky stuff going on here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. Just we'll come back to it. So you know, I'm basically I'm doing like speech plus player left, which is a number, plus then speech mark px. So what this is called concatenating. I'm concatenating. I'm joining these three things together. So I'm basically making a string. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, watch this. Okay, save, Alt, Control S, or if you prefer, File, Save. Over here, refresh. Ooh! Mon Dieu! Did you see that? He jumped. Let me do it again. Oh! It starts off there, which is, it starts off there, about there, right? It was there. Let me reload. It jumps. Okay, why does it jump? So it starts off there. That's because, like I was saying, when it gets drawn, when the browser renders the markup, the HTML, it puts it at 200. And once it's done, it says, do we have a loader? Yes, we have a loader. Do we have an onload function? And yes, we do. And you know, somebody called it loader. Oh, let's find a function called loader and see what it wants me to do. Blah. Set timeout. It wants me to find an element. Some variable, I don't know why it wants that. Set timeout, do some work after 100 what? 100 milliseconds, okay? Just for your, okay. Let me make it 1,000. That means 1,000 milliseconds. A millisecond is 1,000th of a second. So this means comment. Time in milliseconds. So if it's 1,000th of a second, and we've said do 1,000 of them, then that means equals 1 second, right? So it's a second now. Save. I'm going to save. I'm going to refresh. I've changed it from 100 to 1,000. Oh, you'll notice it took a lot longer for it to jump across there. That's because so it got to this line. It said do work. When do I want to do work? Set timeout. Do work. When do I want to do work? In 1,000 milliseconds. Okay. Where's do work? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll come back to you in 1,000 milliseconds. So then in 1,000 milliseconds it goes, player element style, more specifically the left part of the style, change it to this string, which basically is 300 pixels. Okay, because it's player left 300 and then added pixels on. Okay. So that's why it does that. Okay, I'm going to do a bit more. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do 100. Do work again in 100 milliseconds. Okay. So so we're gonna. So what this is doing is it gets to here. It gets to here inside do work, and then this is setting a timeout to say do some work again in 100 milliseconds. Whoa. Which of course will mean in 100 milliseconds it'll look for a function called do work, so it'll come back here and it'll set the player element style to whatever this is. But you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to be sneaky. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go player left equals player left plus 10. 50. Okay. So what does this mean? Well, this is mathematics. So whatever was player left was before, which we happen to know it started off at 300. We're going to say player left is whatever player left was before, which is 300, plus 50, which means 350. So, so every time do work executes, player left will increase by 50. which I think we can figure out what that means. We'll do a save, and we'll do a... Well, maybe you can't figure out what that means. Whoa! Did you see what happened? The player just ran off the edge of the screen. If I make that number smaller, he'll run less rapidly. Okay. I want to move this around a bit, so it's probably less intuitive to have the timeout before that. So, well, let me put that back. So that might have been misleading, but it's a good example. So what happens is set timeout do work in 100 milliseconds. It doesn't sit here waiting for 100 milliseconds and then do work. It basically it sets itself an alarm clock. So it sets itself an alarm clock for 100 milliseconds to do work, and then it continues. It just kind of makes a note of this. 100 milliseconds, I need to do something else. Oh, remember. And then it goes to the next line, which is to increment player left by 10. And then it gets to here, and it basically, oh, I'm done with do work. I'm going to go to sleep. And then, yeah, and because there's nothing else happening, so in 100 milliseconds, it'll come back to do work. Okay, so it's more. I think it's better layout if we do it that way around, because this is actually going to execute before do work comes in again. Okay, so anyway, so you will see, right, as I was saying, that now this blobs across the screen, and it moves 10 pixels each time. I can make it move more slowly even by changing that from 100 milliseconds to 250 milliseconds, which means go more slowly. Blup, 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 blup. I don't like the fact that this starts at 200 and then immediately jumps to 300. Starts at 200, jumps to 300. So I'm going to change this to 300 because that's actually in the middle. What do you mean it's in the middle? Well, so right wall is at 600. Right wall 600. So player, if it's going to be in the middle, should really be at. Oh, I changed the wrong one. My bad. So top stays at 200. Left goes to 300. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tick, 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 tick. Okay. So off he goes off the edge of the screen. Whoo! Hey, we've written some code. We're going to do one more thing, okay? We're going to do one more thing, and then we'll rest. So here, we do work, and we always set the timeout to do some more work after 250 milliseconds. But what happens is, this guy gets to the edge of the playing field, bloop, 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 the red line. And if he gets to the red line, if he hits the red line, then he's dead. I've just decided that. If he hits the red line, he's dead. If he hits the green line, he's escaped. I don't know what this game is, but I'm making it up. So we don't want him to keep going when he hits the red. We want him to stop, because he's dead. So what we're going to do? We're going to do something called a conditional. So we're learning a lot in this this little tutorial. So what we're going to do is conditional. So we're a test. So if player left is greater than, okay, so where is that right wall? The right wall is at 600. So if player left is greater than 600, I'm going to use an alert. This is a quick way to get something to appear on screen. Oh, we'll do something fancier next time. You have died. Okay. Else. Oh, what? Else? So time. Okay. So if something evaluates to true, evaluates has a fancy word meaning if something is true. So if player left is greater than 600, do alert. What's alert? Well, alert is another command. It's another function Similar to, you know, we've seen a couple, right? getElementById was a command, and set a function. setTimeout is a function. So alert is another function. All right. If player left is greater than 600, you have died. Else setTimeout do work. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Here he goes. Oh, he's still going. He's still going. Oh, you have died. So as soon as he got to that red line, he died. Or why was that? Well, okay. So we're checking how far away from the left he is. If it's more than 600 from the left, he's dead. If it's not more than 600 from the left, so you know, basically every blip 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 every 250 milliseconds, we came and set a timeout to do work, which will send us, you know, which will send us back here 250 milliseconds later. Move him. Oh, yeah. Draw him. Move the left. Check. Evaluate whether he's gone off the edge. And if not, set the timeout again. So there we have it. It is now. So at the end of game code is 001. Oh. 2. We're on 2. Look, we're on 2. The end of game code is 001. We just had static content. You know, we had a picture. Now we got a movie. We are making progress. Okay. So homework for this time: learning by doing, learning by doing, or doing by learning. Yeah, learning by doing. Let's. What you need to do is experiment a little more with conditionals, and you know, let's be bold. Make the little guy, instead of going this way, make him go this way. Make him go left. And when he gets to the green line, instead of printing "you have died," he can print "you have survived." How does that sound? Have fun. Oh, was there some other homework? Nah, I can't remember. Okay, no, that's enough.